Oh, we're live.
Hey!
Hey!
Welcome to Chipotle!
When you're here, you're Chipotle.
Do they have a slogan?
No, I don't know.
The slogan is when you're here, your family.
Oh, pardon.
Oh, that was TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx, when you're here, your family.
Welcome to TJ Maxx.
Does
So
Home Goods own TJ Maxx? Or do they own Marshalls?
I think they're all the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have no fucking idea. Well, welcome everybody. So here's what's happening. I got stuck in traffic because Chris and I, whenever we order Chipotle, I think we need to just like
Bad things happen every single time.
we need to just come to terms with the fact that this isn't worth it,
Mm-mm.
but
it's so worth it.
But it is so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody here already. Hello.
Welcome to our mukbang.
If you,
How do you say that?
I think I don't know. I've never heard it pronounced out loud because I don't watch those videos.
Me neither. But I'm starting now.
So we're going to be talking about French extremist horror film called Raw today.
By Julia Ducournau.
Indeed. All right.
But before we talk about it, we got to eat because we're not going to want to talk about it. We're not going to want to eat.
I ate last night while I was watching it, and then I fell asleep. I don't know how I managed it. I was just like, I was really tired, and I needed to eat. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it needed to be done.
Oh my god! I showed everybody at work the one scene from this movie, and
I like that you're just going around terrorizing people at your job. Like, hey, watch this really traumatizing thing.
You want to see what gave me nightmares last night?
It is
this.
That scene in particular is, I mean, like, we'll talk about it once we actually start recording. It's the worst, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is just gory, but that goes on for an insane amount of time. There is absolutely, like, no need. Like, I got the point in the first 10 seconds. It didn't need to go on.
It never ended.
For another 2 minutes. Like,
what was that teacher trying to say? The Justine was cheating or the Adrian was cheating?
I think, I don't know. I think that the point is that he's like a misogynist piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he would rather let her fail than any other student.
Look at us not saving any of the good shit for the actual podcast.
Oh yeah, we're not recording yet.
No.
And maybe we never will.
This is just a lively discussion.
Mm-hmm. A heated debate.
So first of all, thank you for being here when we're covering something that is in a foreign language, because historically that has not gone well for us.
I didn't tell anybody it was in French on any of the posts. So maybe they all just don't know. Surprise!
I was all stressed out last night. Like, I can't have this on in the background while I'm working, and because it's subtitled, and then I realized that I was doing other things while I was watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, I understand French. So I get it. Mm-hmm. I get that panic of I can't watch something subtitled, but you can.
I don't speak French, but I can pick out certain words.
How'd you do with this?
I don't think the words are really important in this movie.
No.
I mean, it has some great dialogue. Could I tell you what they said? No, I can't. I don't remember anything about it. But what I do remember is this movie's fucked up. But is it the most fucked up French movie we've ever covered? No, it's not. Well, maybe. No, it's not.
I don't know. I think between this and Martyrs, it's really not I don't know. It's a rough kind of competition, because really I mean, they're
this one is a charming movie.
It is charming. It's really poignant and kind of sweet underneath.
Funny.
It's I can't wait to see Titan. Oh, that was your phone.
Oh yeah, A's Guide to Horror is live. Now, if you're joining us because you read the title of this video and you think we're doing a WWE Raw podcast,
sure,
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Favre is going down. I don't know.
Brett Favre. I know a little. I know some things about wrestling.
No, I don't.
I don't know who's here. Is Dan here? Dan, if you're here, we're finally covering Raw, and I hope that you're happy. Whoa. Good thing we're not recording it. Hi, Mindy. Okay.
Hey, Clarence.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's us. Sorry. I couldn't pause it. It wouldn't let me pause it.
You can't pause live, baby.
That was a real Inception kind of moment. Okay.
And the coin is still spinning.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
Thank you, Mindy,
God.
because I think I was like trying to even think of wrestling names.
Josh Hardy.
That was the Hardy Boys. Is that a thing?
The Hardy Boys. Nancy Drew. Oh yeah, I'm good at wrestling.
That's weird. I know, but I don't have my shit together yet.
I'm just talking about. Oh, I was so close. I was. Okay, now tell me I was right about Nancy Drew.
Okay. Don't tell me I was right about Nancy Drew.
This is never going into the notes because this isn't actually, we're not recording. I really don't want to be eating on camera, but I can't stop this delicious Chipotle. Sponsored by Chipotle. Hey, Chipotle. We're Chipotle. That's their new
Okay. Okay. All right.
I'm putting it down.
Oh, we've got a bot.
Yeah, but nobody on Facebook can see it.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know that we're being botted.
If you're watching us on YouTube, das vidanya. It's Russian, right? Oh, God. That's the only thing I can say in Russian.
Right. So, I mean, one last thing that I have to say. Idiot's Guide to Non-Horror recommendation. This plant-based chorizo from Chipotle slaps, honestly.
Mine I picked randomly out of nowhere. And I'm thinking of something else. If you are listening to this on Friday, you won't be. We're not recording. Damn it. There's a new Pokemon game coming out tomorrow for the Switch. So I'm recommending that proactively. Retroactively. Pick one.
Okay, I'm going to put this on your counter and finish consuming it during the after party so we can get this show on the road.
Hey, next week we're doing Ghost. Did you know that?
I think I have my pick for next week.
Okay, so honestly, I don't know anything about this Pokemon game. I don't know what the starters are. I pre-ordered it, and I'm still playing Pokemon Brilliant Pearl. So
I miss video games.
I just replayed Kingdom Hearts 3 last week because, I haven't gone to work in 3 weeks, except for this week. I hate working.
I hear you. I am also not a fan.
So please donate. Click the link down below to donate.
And as we will discuss this film, you will find out that I am also not a fan of biological meats, which are what we service when we work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we got our names on here? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Let me close Facebook.
Okay. And then we can do a 3, 2, 1 whenever you're ready.
Oh, damn it already. I gotta prep myself.
It's time. We're fresh. We're fed. Okay.
I need my second favorite co-host.
Yes.
Whatever, buddy.
Oh, did he not want to hang out? Okay. Oh, there we go. We got him. All right. Hey, sweet pea. Okay. All right.
Oh, damn it. I got the script open.
There you go. Okay. Right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Idiot's Guide to Horror.
Counteracting the toxic culture surrounding horror fandom and breaking down your favorite horror movies With you as always, your hosts, Je m'appelle Kara Justine Popovich.
And Je m'appelle Christopher Adrian Habermans. We're ready to turn off the lights, grab your knives, forks, and your appetites, and let's get ready to dig into Raw.
It's directed by Julia Ducournau. I can't do it. Ducournau. I really got into it with the Je m'appelle, and I said Justine, and you were just like Adrian.
I have no accents in me.
No, that is a bold-faced lie.
Okay, the minute amount of French, Spanish, and German I can speak come with no accent whatsoever.
Just last week you did an Irish accent.
Top of the morning.
I've heard you do a Southern accent.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard you do many accents. So saying that you don't have a single accent in you.
I can't speak them in the languages.
So yeah, this week we're covering Raw. If you have never heard of this movie,
you heard of it now, baby.
Yeah, now you have. And if we encourage you to watch this movie, I'm not sorry.
And please, if you watch this movie, and I encourage that you do, don't eat while you do it.
I did, and it was fine, but also I
think we're a different caliber of person.
I had also seen it before, so I knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And also sometimes you just when you have a podcast and you have also a job and all that, you gotta get stuff done. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to watch somebody eat human flesh while you're eating.
Well, honestly, that's the least gross part of this movie.
It is the least gross part of this movie. I didn't eat during that part, but all right. So you can watch it on Netflix right now. Finally, thank God. It wasn't really available anywhere for a long time, and we desperately wanted to cover it.
Which is why I had to buy it last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't regret it.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to give away how we feel about this movie, but we both feel very strongly about how good this movie is.
Or do we?
So do you want to give them, for those of you who don't know what Raw is, now is the time for Chris, because I did the hard part. It's the time for Chris to paint you a word picture with a back of the box description. Chris, and go.
Ha ha ha. Picture it.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening. All right, it's 2016. What was I doing in 2016? What year is it now?
It's 2022.
And 2016 is what, 3 or 4 years ago? But I still feel 2007 was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Who can be sure?
It's all the same.
So you're a hip, cool 28-year-old teenager, and you are, in the south of France.
France?
That's not how they always say it.
The south of France.
Yeah. You and your mates are playing football down by the Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm. That's how that works.
You take a pit stop at the Louvre, and you feel you know what? I want to go rent a movie, like an old VHS tape. So you're heading down to Le Blockbuster, and you want something fucked up. So here, you ask the clerk,
But you live in France, so that's every horror movie made.
Every horror movie, every French horror movie is disgusting. I can't think of one that's not.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're doing it on purpose. So you ask the clerk for something recent, something cute, fun, charming, quippy, disgusting. Indeed. And he recommends Raw. So you pick up the box, you flip it around. The cover is cute. It has a young woman looking listful. No, it depends on what cover of the movie you're looking at, honestly.
That's true. Yeah, there's the one where she looks pensive and intimidating at the same time, and then there's the one where she looks, very like you said, wistful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you flip it over. The tagline of this movie says, "What are you hungry for?" I'll tell you what it is. In Justine's family, everyone is a vet and a vegetarian. At 16, she's a gifted teen ready to take on her first year at vet school, where her older sister also studies. There, she gets no time to settle. Hazing starts right away, which I have a lot of thoughts about.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into it.
A 4-year vet school? Okay. Justine is forced to eat raw meat for the first time in her life. I've still never eaten raw meat.
Why would you?
I don't know. Unexpected consequences emerge as her true self begins to form.
Ooh, all right. So, spoiler warning: we're going to talk about this movie in depth, up to and including the ending. So, if you haven't seen this movie, you can pause this episode and watch it if you want to. But we will warn you up front that it is
gross.
It's upsetting, and maybe thematically kind of like a little sensitive too. Although it's all metaphorical, not a lot is shown, like right out there in the open. So I guess we'll get into some movie facts.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Due to the graphic nature of this film, ushers at the New York Theatre. I don't know.
That was good.
Thanks.
But even though it's in LA.
It's in Los Angeles. We're handing moviegoers custom-made vomit bags.
Which has, I love a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? I love a gimmick. I wish, God, just once, why can't I walk into a theater for a horror movie and have somebody hand me a vomit bag? I want that life.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Next time we go to the movies, please just,
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
And I feel like Mary Poppins Returns.
That's pretty upsetting, actually.
I cried so hard.
I did too. And I was on a plane. It was embarrassing. At a screening at Gothenburg Film Festival, several attendants in the audience fainted and vomited. Over 30 people left the cinema prematurely, and they had to take a break in the middle of the movie due to all the turmoil. So, this is I'm always skeptical of this, right? I don't necessarily, I wasn't there. And there, nobody's recording inside of the theater, but really, how much turmoil could it have been? You know what I mean?
Okay. So
were people just vomiting into the aisles, and was it like that scene from Stand By Me where they're just...
maybe, because last week we covered The Exorcist, where they also had people fainting. Which fine. Sure, whatever does it to you. But you remember that book by Chuck Palahniuk, where he was doing a live reading and people were vomiting in the aisle, vomiting in the seats?
No, I didn't read that one.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Okay.
But not I didn't faint during it. I listened to an audiobook on the drive home. Thank God I didn't faint. But this movie, I'm gonna say I did have to pause it and sit there still for 20 minutes
so that you didn't get sick.
Because I was very close to being sick.
That's fair. There is I wouldn't say that I got nauseated, but I did get a chill up my back during.
I was on the verge of vomiting.
Oh my gosh.
And I've seen this movie more than once before.
Right.
I can picture it happening.
I just my thing is always how did they do that? But
I don't want to know.
I don't really. It's not that crazy of a trick this time, but it just goes on for too long. She's too proud of it.
Where's it coming from?
So writer director. Oh no, wait, you.
Oh, writer director Julia Ducournau has rejected people classifying this as a horror movie. As while her intent was to disturb, it was not to scare. Instead, she views her work as a mixture of comedy, drama, teen movie, and body horror. So
that's the thing with the French extremists, the new French extremity, right? Is that extremity, is that it's not necessarily none of these filmmakers necessarily want to be classified as horror. These are very dramatic movies.
I feel like Frontiers was trying to be scary.
Frontiers was definitely trying to be scary. That's a different thing. But something like this, Martyrs, Inside, Them, or was it? Yeah, They. I think that these are all movies that are actually just more dramas or psychological dramas.
This is the original, except for last week's movie, The Exorcist, the original elevated horror.
Yeah, this was part of that movement. Even though it was French extremity is it is what it is, and it is what it has been for a long time. It's not exactly something that evolves very much, and there are movies that are in the same sub-Dan. Raw is just a classic coming of age stories for cannibals. That is true. But there are new French Extremity movies that are not horror, like Gaspar Noé is a person, like
I'll have to see it.
It's Irreversible, Climax, Love, which is on Netflix, and everybody, there was like a reaction challenge to it for a while because the first scene is like a giant penis.
Oh no.
Yeah.
A giant penis.
But while everything that is new French Extremity is not necessarily horror, I disagree with her. I think that this is definitely horror.
Yeah.
It's
sorry, Julia.
Yeah.
The idiots have spoken.
Ducournau got permission to film a sedation of a horse, which was already scheduled to take place at a veterinary school, and then just stuck her actors in frame. Her aim was to show how even a creature as majestic as a horse is at the mercy of their own body. I didn't want to glamorize anything, especially with girls' bodies. A body is a body, and that's the quote from her. Thank God, because I texted Chris that I was crying, because they show this horse getting sedated, and it gets slowly lowered to the ground, and then they put the apparatus in its mouth, and
the intubator.
I was crying. I did not do well with that.
But unfortunately, that's all the movie facts we have for this, because
it's a newer one.
It's a newer one, and every website I went to was in French, and I can't read French, so.
And I was busy.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess we could just get into the walkthrough. It's pretty easy to keep this one kind of abbreviated. It is really linear, which is always nice. I like, the more that we get into things, the more I appreciate linear storytelling. You know what I mean?
I mean, I like a crazy curveball back and forth movie, but it's hard to do a podcast about it.
About something with an anachronistic timeline. Yeah, for sure.
Join us next week when we do Memento. That's pretty linear, actually.
It is pretty linear, yeah.
Don't spoil it. I almost spoiled it.
I don't. If you haven't seen Memento, then you're not a film bro. I know how much you film bros love your Nolan.
Maybe I'll watch it. Last time I saw it was in high school.
I haven't seen it for a long time either.
It could be good still.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Did you hear about Fight Club's new ending?
Yes, in China, yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. The government got them. Oh, we have to be taking notes.
I do love that so much. That is so funny. I want to know. I want to see where it cuts. And then they're Tyler Durden was put in a mental hospital for 17 years.
That's how the book ends.
Yeah?
Yeah, the book ending is different than the movie ending. And Chuck Palahniuk said that the book is not as good as the movie.
I read the book in high school. Maybe I agree with that.
The motherfucker is going on upstairs. My cats are fighting everybody. Guys, if you can't hear that, that's called cat fight.
I thought there was somebody at the door. I
thought we were getting murdered.
Yeah, that's get murdered. I don't want to get murdered anyway. Okay, so Raw.
What were we just talking about? I was going to add to my notes.
The ending of. Yeah. So Raw opens with Justine. She is at some sort of cafeteria with her parents. She asks for mashed potatoes. She almost bites into, I think, a meatball. What is that meat-eating person?
Meatball.
Okay.
This is my first problem with this movie.
What?
How the hell
do you hide a meatball in mashed potatoes?
And then not notice that you're taking such big bites that you don't notice you put an entire meatball in your mouth.
Well, she somehow does it, but then she spits the thing out whole, and her mom's all freaked out and is like, I have to go complain. What if you were allergic? So we get the sense that the family is vegetarian, or at least that Justine is, and that her mother is very serious about keeping her that way. And they're taking her to veterinary school. So she's 16. She is very early admission. She's a prodigy. And it's the same veterinarian school that her father, her mother, and now her sister went to. And when she gets there,
her dad is smoking cigarettes the entire movie, but I let this one pass because it's France.
listen, when I thought of you, I was laughing so hard when she gets to the nurse's office and the doctor just like lights up a cigarette in
my notes. I was like, he's French, she's French. What do you expect? I mean, I've never been, but like I feel like when you get off the bus to elementary school, they give you your book bag and a pack of cigarettes.
A pack of unfiltered.
Yeah, you're getting Lucky Strikes or whatever the French equivalent is.
Yeah. Which I would like to. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know. I want to know what a French cigarette is like. Don't you?
Well, I'd have to call up Jean Dujardin because I feel like he would tell me.
Okay.
If he knew who I was. Jean, I loved you in The Artist. Call me.
Okay. So they pull up to the school. They try to call Justine. I'm going to try to not be so American with it, but it's so hard. Justine? Justine's sister, Alex, they keep trying to call her to get her to come down and like meet her and take her up to her dorm, but she doesn't, so they leave. And she goes, like, the next thing we see is her like in bed and then in her dorm and she's sleeping. And then, do you want to do the intro of your husband?
If I could pronounce his real name, I would, but I can't, so I won't. We meet Justine's roommate, Adrienne. I can't say it.
Okay.
So, Adrienne is this smoking hot. I don't know, like, I can't explain it in words. Just watch this movie. If for nothing else. Watch this movie for Adrienne.
Yeah. He reclaims the F slur.
Yeah, in which he's allowed to, but maybe. I couldn't find out if he's actually gay or not.
No, that information is not anywhere.
There's nothing about him on the internet other than he might be a rapper.
He's a rapper and a composer.
And smoking hot.
She wakes up to a bunch of noises and Adrienne like flings her door open and he's like, we gotta go. And she's like, I asked for a girl. And he's like, well, they gave you a gay man, but he doesn't use that word.
He says the F slur.
And they end up going through their first night of hazing.
Which I find weird, this being a veterinary school. Maybe I just don't know anything about vet school because I didn't feel like it would be like a you live there kind of thing.
I really don't know. I mean, veterinarians, sound off.
Yeah, please comment down below.
But I just, to be honest, the thing that made me the most uncomfortable about this movie was the hazing scenes. I don't like that concept. It has always freaked me out.
And why would you make everybody pledge?
It's
not like, and here in America, if you go to a college that does this garbage, you get a choice in whether you're going to pledge for whatever.
Right. Whether or not you want to go through this torture of like being, hazed in order to become part of something.
The hazer. For the future noobs.
Right.
But it feels like everybody, the whole starting class is getting hazed together.
Yeah, and if they don't do the activities, then they're considered like traitors.
Yeah.
So, and Justine is not the kind of girl that is like interested in.
No.
She's there to prove that she's, she loves animals and she's a prodigy. But they all have to crawl to like this party.
Like an animal.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was a really good shot.
It was. I mean, every shot in this movie pretty much is absolutely fucking gorgeous, but like, or like not necessarily gorgeous at times, but like really
gorgeous.
Really well framed.
Well framed. This one really had you feeling like animals. Like they were the animals.
Yeah.
Crawling on all fours.
And it's in slow motion and
It's at night and the lights and the soundtrack, the fucking soundtrack.
Well, then it gets to the party and they get to a party and it's just hedonism, and Justine is out of her element, and she's just smacking into people. She's trying to find her sister.
And the song playing in the background is so good.
So
I keep listening to it on repeat.
Thank you for finding that, by the way.
Don't thank me, thank Shazam.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Show notes.
Yeah.
So this is where, okay, we're at the party. We see my man kissing another man, and I'm shook.
How were you later?
Oh. Well, we'll get there when we get there. Like, I was so heartbroken. Adrian, what are you doing to me? We had so much going for us.
Meanwhile, Steve is on the other end of the couch, just like...
He was at work. He wanted to watch a movie so bad, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait, because we do a weekly podcast, guys, and we're recording it live right now, and it's too late now to watch it. So my man is kissing a man. Justine sees this, turns and runs because she was going to greet him.
Because it's the only person that she really knows so far. And then she starts calling out for her sister, and she finds her. And Alex has brought her dog to the party.
Couldn't tell you why. I mean, I would.
Like, first of all, they're allowed to have dogs in the dormitory, which is bonker balls of, like, as a concept to me. But
man, anything goes.
Apparently. But they take the dog and they go because Alex is about to throw up, so she needs some fresh air, and they go.
Like, Alex acts so, like, she's so happy to see Justine.
Yeah.
She's hugging her. She's like, I missed you. So glad you're here. Great times abound, or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though, like, the night before, she was ignoring all of her phone calls.
Dude, this movie is accurate. So this is, like, honestly, that's what having a sister is like. It's very, you know, you love each other when you see each other, but then,
But Alex leads her out of the party because she needs to cool down. They sneak into the dead animal room, which is like taxidermy. Nope, they're in jars, like you would picture.
Yeah, like it's like they're in formaldehyde.
Yeah,
they're in formaldehyde.
Yeah. Oh, my mom said bunker balls. Did somebody say that?
I did. Yeah, I say that pretty often.
Bonjour.
So
we see the pictures of their parents who were also hazed and go through the hazing.
Right.
So we're like, we're all in this together now.
Right. And then the next day they're all like lined up, and because eventually Justine goes back to bed, and then the next day they all like are marched onto the steps, and then they have blood dumped on them like Carrie, and then they're told that they like have to complete their week of hazing.
It feels way longer than a week.
It feels so much longer than a week, but apparently that's how long we see what's like
the progression.
Yeah.
But it feels like the whole year.
It does. So then they go up onto the roof and they are doling out rabbit kidney.
I mean, sure, why not?
Like, they have just jars full of rabbit kidneys. They've just been harvesting rabbit kidney waiting for this moment.
Here's all the questions I have up until now. 1, where do they get all these kidneys? 2, why is nobody stopping them?
I guess the professors just like, no. I don't know. They don't really ever get into how they get away with this. Like, you know, like they don't really ever get into how they get away with this. Like, nobody ever stops them. The professors don't seem to give a shit. They're just
RA.
torturing the freshmen, or, you know, whatever you call it, the first years. But they, like, Justine is like, I don't eat this. Like, I'm a vegetarian. I can't eat this.
My whole family is veggies.
My whole family is vegetarian. Like, that's my sister. You can ask her. And the guy's like, Alex, are you a vegetarian? And Alex is like, no.
Way to go, Alex.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Yeah. So she literally forces the rabbit kidney into Justine's mouth and makes her eat it. Justine almost throws up. And then she starts scratching. Then the scratching starts. This is what bothered me. This is where I had trouble. Just like the sound of the scratching.
I just don't understand why she would keep scratching. Like, I understand that it's itchy. Don't scratch. Okay, if you're covered. PSA. For all those of you at home, should ye wake up with a rash from ye feet to ye head, don't keep scratching it.
No.
It just probably makes it worse. I don't know.
No, you're not supposed to scratch it. You're like, that spreads it, that irritates it, that makes things worse.
This is okay. Up until now, this movie has been pretty calm. The opening scene, which we didn't talk about, was like a car driving down a road and then somebody running in front of it and then running into a tree.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's pretty important, actually. Whoopsie, sorry.
We'll get back to it later. It becomes important eventually. But this is where we have a few gross moments, like pretty much back to back. To back.
Well, it starts to go downhill really fast.
Yeah, but this is like the most mild of the gross.
I would disagree entirely with that. I'm sorry.
What do you, you think it's the most gross of the gross?
This is what bothers me the most in the entire movie.
Grosser than the bathroom scene.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, I had a much harder time with this because it's more realistic to me. This is way more realistic to me than somebody doing what we're about to describe, what she's about to do, which we'll get to. But like just the sound of her scratching and the way that it fucking looked, no. See, this is where I draw the line. All right. This is it.
Okay.
This is. I've had a rash. I've never pulled an entire wig from my esophagus.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it. So she has the rash. She decides to go to the school nurse, or maybe like a real nurse, or like
they're right by a hospital, so I don't know if
it's word from later.
Yeah.
Okay, she goes to see a medical professional, and this nurse starts peeling hunks of skin off of her, but not like in a mean way. It's like the dead skin because it's already healing.
Yeah, it's like when you peel a sunburn.
Yeah, it's like a sunburn, which still grossed me out a little bit.
It's still a little upsetting, yeah, because I don't exactly like it when my sunburns.
Oh, I love it. I'll peel the whole thing off. I wait till my whole body comes off and just peel a whole layer of skin off.
Now I'm nauseated.
Just wait. So the nurse tells her that it is severe food poisoning.
Because she said she's kind of nauseated too.
Let me knock on this wooden table. I've never had food poisoning, and hopefully I never get it to where all my skin falls off. So good for us.
Yeah, I mean, I have never had that particular form of food poisoning. I don't know if it's a real thing, but
in the movie it is.
Yeah. So she starts
smoking. Oh. The nurse.
Oh yeah, the doctor lights up a cigarette right in the office after peeling off of Justine's skin. Yeah. And she tells her
a story about an overweight woman.
Yeah, like a teenage girl who was bigger and said something about like, how hard it is to be a girl, which is like, we'll get to this when we discuss the movie at the end, but sort of
thematic.
Grab onto that theme, hold it tight. So Justine starts chewing on her hair a lot,
like trichotillomania.
Yeah. So before the bathroom scene, is when she tries to steal the burger. Yeah, so nobody sees her, not because she doesn't have money. So she's in the cafeteria line with Adrian, and she puts a burger in her lab coat pocket.
A greasy,
bloody burger. Yeah.
You can tell.
And then she ends up having to buy it, and she's like, "Did anybody see?" And Adrian decides to take her to with the dialogue that you're having, you would think that he's taking her to like some amazing restaurant,
shawarma
with incredible meat, and then he just takes her to get gas station shawarma. So
yeah, I mean, I'm down right now.
Really.
Also, we did skip over a very important part of this movie
when she talks about like the animal, like in the cafeteria scene, in the first cafeteria scene, when she's discussing like whether or not an animal can have the same emotions after they've been sexually assaulted.
Well, that, yes. And the scene where she gets back to her dorm after getting the rash cream and Adrian's like getting sex in the doorway.
Yeah.
So guys, here's what's not cool. If you live in a shared space, please do activities like that in your closed off room.
Yeah, or a bathroom or something.
Under the bleachers.
Because Justine has just dragged her entire mattress up the stairs wearing heels.
Because it's
nightclub day or whatever. They have to, yeah.
Or you have to wear a diaper.
Yeah, or they have to wear a diaper. So she didn't want to wear a diaper anymore. So she borrowed clothes from her sister. And this is where we start to see, I forgot that this happened first. We see like what the relationship between her and Alex is kind of really like when they're not like drunk and euphoric. Which is like they are contentious and there's resentment and there's difficulty there.
And then
then she steals the burger and Adrian takes her to get gas station shawarma. And then she starts
like Adrian gets like sexually harassed.
Yeah.
By a trucker, which I didn't know they had in France, but that's just, I guess.
Yeah, they're everywhere, man.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So the more you know.
So after this, Justine starts craving meat more often. She is eating her hair.
She's eating a raw piece of chicken.
She eats a raw piece of chicken from the fridge.
Which is made out of sugar.
It's still, I didn't like to look at it. There are some things in this movie that I was like, you know, I guess that like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna be annoying like that, but just.
And this is where her teacher accuses her of cheating.
Yeah.
Or something. I wasn't really paying that much attention.
I mean,
I watched it twice, this scene.
He's basically just saying to her that he feels like she isn't special because, you know, the whole thing is that, you know, like we said before, Justine's a prodigy. That's how she got into the school so fast. Also, like, it's a family lineage thing. And he seems very resentful of her for it.
He hates her. Because, like, when she turned in her first assignment ever, he says, oh, like, I've been expecting you. I've heard things about you. And he starts, like, takes his red pen out and is like, oh, already a mistake.
Off to a bad start, yeah. So he goes on this whole tirade about how she doesn't belong there. And then she goes to the bathroom and you think she's just going to throw up. And this is the scene that we've been referencing since before we hit record. So for the next 2-ish minutes of the movie, our eyes are assaulted by Justine just pulling wet hair out of her throat forever.
I don't understand how she got this much hair in her. If you've seen like any drag queen ever, it's like 3 of their wigs stapled together.
It's just like, and the thing is, she's just been like sucking on the bottom of her hair. So like, how does she have like girl is an active shower drain, and she's just snaking herself. So like, how?
I watched this last night. I watched it again today at work. I watched it again later today at work, and it is so disgusting, but I can't stop watching it.
I mean, I got kind of over it within the first like 30 seconds, and I was like, you know, I think I've gotten everything that I need out of this scene, and it just keeps going, and it's just like, okay, all right. Okay, she's still pulling hair out. Okay, and then before you know it, it's been like a full minute and 15 seconds.
I literally had to pause the movie after this because I was going to vomit because I could feel the hair coming out of my own throat.
Well, how did you feel? Okay, when we watched The Ring, right? How did you feel about that?
That one little hair she pulls out.
Yeah, but she goes for like forever.
It didn't bother me at all because there was no like, I don't know. This is different. This is graphic in a way that The Ring was not because you can hear her choking it up.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it definitely, she's making like the puking noises and stuff like that. It's very graphic, but everything in this movie is.
Yeah.
But I think that between this and the rash scratching scene, I still think the rash scratching stuff is worse.
I feel like the next scene's pretty gross too, though.
Yeah, but like once again, Do you know what that's like? I don't know what that's like.
Getting a bikini wax?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, neither do I.
I waxed one armpit once.
I have waxed my eyebrows and took one almost like clean off.
I once a month I put hot wax up my nostrils and rip all the hairs out of them.
Wow, why?
Because I have very awkward nose shape, so it's very open. You know what I mean?
But why not one of those like things?
I have one, doesn't work as well.
Oh, okay.
So once a month I hurt myself, like Johnny Cash said to do.
But anyway, yeah, that's. I don't know what purpose that scene really serves.
No idea.
But you know what? Actually, it does serve a purpose because it plays into more of a metaphor when she exits the stall and a girl meets her by the mirror and says, "If you use 2 fingers, it'll come up quicker." So
she tries later and it doesn't.
No, it does not. So anyway, she's sick all the time, and she starts. She calls Alex and says that she needs to spend time with her. She needs to hang out. They go up on the roof and they get drunk.
And they pee standing up.
Alex pees standing up. Justine does not.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's not. It's not. It's not a thing. I don't know. That woman is talented if she can really do that. Her stream must be powerful. Because I'd be more like Justine, just like pissing all over myself.
Me too. Well, I had an unfortunate piercing, and now I can't. There's too many holes somewhere there shouldn't be.
I did not know.
Don't tell anybody. Except for you, internet.
So Justine asks if she could spend the night with Alex because she's not feeling well. So they're like getting ready to go to bed, and like Justine lifts up her armpit and she's like, I was already getting bikini waxes when I was your age.
Okay, here's the thing. I assumed everyone in France just went natural, because that's what I've heard. But maybe I'm just generalizing.
It might be a generalization. I think that it might be more like acceptable. It might be more in vogue there. Like it might be like, here in America, it's considered dirty to have armpit hair, which is the stupidest
Unless you're Amanda Palmer.
Well, yeah, but like it's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, the armpit hair exists for a reason. I mean, I do shave mine off, but it exists for a reason. And if you don't want to shave it off, you shouldn't have to.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Live your life.
Which is why I was confused when Alex was telling Justine, like, get rid of it.
Right. And then what happens next? See, this bothered me too.
This bothered me a lot more than the scene that comes right after it.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I've always been scared of, like, this is what I've been scared of. And that's why I've never done this.
So Alex decides to give Justine what she calls a Brazilian wax, which is not a Brazilian wax at all.
Oh, yeah, go up, cosmetologist.
Yeah, thank you. This is bikini wax. A Brazilian wax is up your butt crack.
Okay.
So, write that down.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it goes up the butt crack.
I thought that just meant that you were, like, taking the carpet and making it hardwood.
That plus the butt crack.
Okay. All right.
It's a bikini wax and and it goes up.
See, this is why I ask Chris every time I have questions about beauty stuff.
Because I'm here to tell you about your butt crack, baby.
Yeah. Thank you for educating us about our butt cracks, Chris.
So anyway, speaking of butt cracks, Justine is getting a bikini wax. It's painful. She doesn't want to do it anymore. Alex doesn't take no for an answer. She keeps going, and she's like, I can't leave you uneven now. I have to do the other side. So she does the other side, and then she keeps going in for another one, and then the wax gets stuck in a way I've never seen wax get stuck before. Somebody who's done like a wax or 2 in my day, like for a living. This has never happened.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. That's good to know. That's really good to know. I like knowing that, but yeah, go on.
So the wax gets stuck on her skin and will not come off. So Alex.
I don't know. Alexia, like her full name is Alexia for
some reason. Same with the girl from High Tension was Alexia.
Yeah, they never call her that. They only call her Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah.
So Alex decides she's going to cut the wax off with a pair of scissors.
Ha-cha-cha.
And being all defensive because not wanting scissors next to your crotch is like a reasonable request, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Justine kicks away and accidentally cuts off her sister's one of these fingers.
One of the digits, one of the ring fingers. Yep. So the ring finger's gone. Alex passes out from shock and probably from blood loss. And Justine finds the finger, crawls over to it, looks at it curiously. For those of you listening to the podcast, the audio version of the podcast, Chris is cocooning inside of his hoodie right now.
And this is what I literally do during scary movies.
But she looks at the finger curiously, and then she goes ahead and she takes a little nibble, and then she takes another little nibble. And before you know it, she has eaten her sister's finger down to the bone, my friends.
And then poor Alex wakes up and she looks over and you just see her crying.
Right. So Alex has to go to the hospital.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And they, Justine is like fully, she thinks that she's fucked. Like her parents are about to find out that she's got
tell everybody
this weird affliction.
I'd be like, Robbie ate my finger.
But
that's my brother's name.
Alex does not. Alex says that the dog ate it.
I would rather it be Alex. I would rather be Justine than ate it.
Well, because I think that at this point in the movie, like at this point, Alex knows that she would get in a lot more trouble for making Justine eat the rabbit kidney than she would than Justine would for eating the finger. So once Alex is all like sewed up, Alex is like, I'm gonna fucking teach you how to deal with this. And like we discover that the thing at the beginning of the movie where somebody ran out in front of the car and caused a crash is what Alex does in order to feed and sort of like it's kind of like a vampire-ish or like a zombie-ish kind of thing, but like they're classy. Alive. What was that?
But classy.
Classy, yeah. They need to feast on human flesh.
Real quick, I want to touch on something real quick. At the hospital, whenever Justine goes outside to make herself throw up because she's reacted with guilt and she's trying to get it out orally. She goes and talks to her dad because she threw a fit inside the hospital. I don't remember why. But her dad's talking to her and he's like, oh, we're going to have to put the dog down, because the dog has tasted human blood and you cannot trust an animal that has tasted human blood because you don't know if they liked it or not.
Right.
Also, Dad offers her a cigarette, and now their whole family's smoking cigarettes. But France, she's 16.
She is 16. But I mean, how old were you when you had your first cigarette?
14. Okay, fine.
But I bet she's smoking like good French cigarettes. She's not smoking like somebody's mom's Pall Mall.
Newport.
So yeah.
Right out of the ashtray, buddy.
Then it's revealed that Alex literally kills people in car crashes and then
never gets caught apparently.
Never gets caught feeding off of them before the ambulances come to take them away or whatever.
And then nobody notices their brains are partially eaten.
Right, like when they get these autopsies, like maybe they think that like a
deer got one.
Yes, like some sort of animal is getting it or whatever.
I don't know why I said deer. Pretty sure they're vegetarian.
I was gonna say deer don't eat people
or meat. They're like a berry person.
Yeah. Deer or berry people? So Justine does not like this.
No, ma'am. She runs home.
Yeah, she is really she's really upset by like the concept that this might be her life now. She also doesn't think that it's morally right for her to be killing people in order to feed this addiction or feed these urges. And she starts having sort of a crush on Adrian.
God, don't blame her. Because when we get back, the next scene is Adrian shirtless playing football. And football, I mean, not American football. I mean, like where everybody else in the world calls it.
Soccer.
Yeah, soccer. So Adrian shirtless kicking around that football.
Body language right now.
And he's all like, yeah, I'm so good at this. I'm like David Beckham, but hotter. I'm like, what is Brooklyn Beckham doing?
I don't know. I know nothing about Brooklyn Beckham.
Why is he so good looking?
Because his parents.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
been over this. They're like literally like it's like they were planned in a lab to create a superhuman race. They're beautiful people.
Too beautiful.
It's a little disturbing. Well, like somebody, I guess that they have to like hold it down because now that Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet have broken up, like somebody needs to be a beautiful couple.
I didn't find Jason Momoa very attractive.
I don't either, but apparently everybody else does.
Oh, okay.
But Lisa Bonet
is drop dead gorgeous.
She's the most beautiful woman, like alive.
Also, Posh, why aren't you going on a reunion tour with the rest of the Spice Girls? You're hurting my feelings.
That's a good question.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh, Adrian playing football.
Yeah, Adrian's playing football.
So Justine is just staring at him.
Yeah.
Until her nose starts to bleed, which is the cover of this movie.
Yeah.
One of the covers of this movie.
And then she's like dancing in the mirror and like putting lipstick on.
This song is so weird.
It is very weird. I don't know if it's about like fucking
necrophilia.
corpses
Yeah,
or
it
what.
has to be.
But it's definitely
it's a song about blowjobs and dead people.
It's not comfortable, but she's like really into it and she's like dancing. Yeah, there's definitely like a sort of transformation.
She's rubbing lipstick all over her jaw.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But then she leaves her room in her sexiest dress, which is the only dress she wears this whole movie.
Yes.
And what do we see? Adrian playing the video games with Alex.
Right.
He's two-timing me again.
You mad?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When they go to a party, right?
Necrophilia, your fingertips look like curry. Justine can't sleep. Something keeps hitting her. I don't know if this is a dream or not. Was that a dream? Like when she's under the covers but won't come out from under the covers and everything's just hitting her from the sheets?
I thought that was part of the hazing thing.
I couldn't be sure. The dream sequence never ended.
Yeah.
And then like she gets up and she goes out of the room. She's screaming. She walks down the hall. She gets splashed with blue paint and gets paired up with a yellow guy. And this part was weird to me.
That they're supposed to. Okay, so they get thrown. Okay, so they get thrown. She's painted blue. The other guy's painted yellow, and they're thrown into a room and saying they're told not to come out until they're both green.
Mm-hmm.
So the implication is that they're supposed to be at
least touching.
Yeah.
But here's
why wouldn't you just be like, okay, like let's just scoop?
Well, I feel like the guy was really into it, way more than Justine was into it.
Yeah, he was, but like that's when you go like, okay, buddy, like tap tap, and then you're like, okay, swipe, and you take some of the blue paint, and then you just do one of these bad boys.
I think her thing was also very effective, what she does.
Yeah, because he like kind of coerces her into like making out with him, and then she bites his lip
right off.
She bites his lip right off.
Let that sink in.
Which is what you do if somebody is forcing you to do something you don't want to do. Take it the fuck away from them.
Yeah, we're gonna kiss with now, bish.
Yeah. Good luck ever doing this again, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So he comes out like screaming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and everybody else is like, what the fuck is her problem? Like they're all really disturbed by her. So she goes, this part did kind of get me when she goes like back to the shower and she like picks a bit of his lip out of her teeth, and then it's just like, like
she drops it on the floor, picks it up with the back of her mouth.
So, well, I was gonna say it was kind of like when you like find a piece of popcorn in your teeth when you're at the movie and you're just like, I'll put that right back in or whatever. But
I've never done that.
You've never even like done like the tongue thing where there's like a piece of popcorn and you're like, nah.
Yeah, I'll do that, but like I can't take it out of my mouth and put it back in. I find that unsanitary.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry that. Have you ever worked in food service? Things change.
I worked at Taco Bell when I was 16.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The one in New Ken.
Huh. I wonder how often.
15 to 16 years old.
Wow.
Because back in the day, you could work at 15 if you had a worker's permit.
I don't know if you could still. Can you still do that in the state of Pennsylvania?
I'm so much older than that now that I don't remember.
I know.
It was like 20 years ago.
I know. Wait, what? No. Oh my God.
Yeah, 15, and I'm 33 right now. So coming up on 20 years.
No.
Yeah, I'm very old. I'm like the Crypt Keeper.
I'm having a moment.
Remember that from Freaky Friday? I'm Jamie Lee Curtis.
I wish I was Jamie Lee Curtis. That's a story for a different day.
Did you know that on our Instagram, our Idiots Guide to Horror Instagram, we follow Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, I follow her on all of the Instagrams.
Tony Collette does not have a
She does not.
Instagram.
Neither does Tilda Swinton.
No, but I follow their fan accounts with our like joint account.
Good, thank you.
Oh yeah, back to the movie.
So Justine then ends up, okay, are you okay? Do you want to talk about this, or do you want me to talk about it? And then you can tell the world how you feel.
Well, this one's fine. It's the next one, like the last part of this saga.
Okay.
Gets me real down.
Okay. So we could do it like this, and then I almost wish that I had prepared presenting this like a Jerry Springer thing, because I didn't realize how big of a crush you had on this man, that you have like a parasocial relationship with this character.
Don't tell my boyfriend.
But so Justine goes back to her dormitory. She confides in Adrian about the fact that she is really she has a strange urge to feast on human flesh, and they have sexual intercourse.
While she tries to bite him the entire time.
Yeah, she keeps like biting his neck and stuff, and he's like pushing her away. And
which is easy for him.
Yeah.
For those big strong muscles.
And then she climaxes and bites her own arm very hard and takes
I think we're made to think that it was his arm until he moves his.
Yeah.
Because there's like a very obvious movement from him.
Yeah.
Then we wake up the next morning and Adrienne is still in bed. We see Alex staring out the window. We see Alex out the window. In class, Alex texts Adrienne and says, "Have my sister look at her phone." And they get into a big fight because why does my sister have your number when we're dating or whatever is happening?
Yeah. He's like, we're not together, I'm gay.
Yeah, and I've spent a long time
becoming comfortable with being gay, and I'm not doing that just so I can, be with a woman. And she's really upset because she just, lost her virginity to this person, and she thought that they were together.
Yeah, which is sad, but at least she has that to remember for always.
Yeah.
She bagged a good one. We go to another party. There's a lady licking somebody's eyeball.
Yeah, very weird.
Don't know why it's there. Wish it wasn't.
Yeah, Justine gets super drunk.
Because she asked for a shot, and the shot is like a full solo party cup.
Yeah.
She's like, "Save me a trip back." Like,
yeah. And then
she starts kissing random people.
She does start kissing random people. Alex takes her to morgue.
Yes, Alex takes her to morgue, but I don't know if we know that right now.
That doesn't happen right now?
Alex drags her
to
the morgue, and then we just wake up the next day, still in our party dress, and head to class. Yeah. And we sit down on our seat, which might be assigned, which might not be, I'm not sure. And the girl she sits down next to, just everyone's staring at her. The girl sitting next to her picks up her shit and moves to a different chair, and we're like, whatever. So after class, Adrienne grabs her by the arm when she's exiting the building, the lecture hall,
and shows her the video. We didn't see what would happen when she got to the morgue, but now we see that somebody, probably Alex, took a video of Justine.
The video was taken. I don't know who took the video. Alex was waving the arm around though.
Oh, right.
So it couldn't have been her.
But she set it up.
She did set it up for everybody.
Yeah. Justine was trying to eat a corpse, and it has now made its way around the school, and everybody is disgusted by her. And they see each other on school grounds. They're just
It's like
yeah, the standoff. There's like a standoff, and then they start fighting, but then they bite each other's arms, and they're just staring at each other while biting each other's arms really hard, and everybody's watching.
Everybody's
watching. Everybody's really disturbed.
They're all filming it with their like iPhone 3s. But then they're friends again. It's like while they're still biting each other, they become friends again.
Shared trauma, mutually assured destruction.
Trauma bonding.
Yeah. So then, yeah.
She gives her a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
She also took a chunk out of her face. Mm-hmm. Alex took a chunk out of Justine's face, and so Alex puts a Band-Aid on it, so it's fine now. So now it's the next day. The horn's going off because in the beginning of the movie, they were like, when you hear this horn, next time you hear this horn, you won't be newbies anymore. The hazing will be over.
Right.
So we're hearing this horn, and everyone is shambling out of their shacks, covered in blankets.
Right. But Justine, the next day, she wakes up in bed with Adrian. And Justine's mouth is all bloody. Hi, Clarence. And it seems that Adrian is sleeping until she sees that there is a hole in his head. And he is dead. Adrian.
He also has no leg anymore.
Well, yeah, she lifts up because she sees that there's blood on her.
She's rubbing his body.
Yeah, and she lifts up the blankets and she sees that there is just like a giant chunk taken out of his thigh.
Very well done.
Yeah, it is. It looks really very real.
He's also impaled with a steep hole.
Right. And she looks over and she sees that Alex is covered in blood and slumped over on the floor with blood all over her mouth. Mm-hmm. And Justine gets really upset, obviously, you killed my roommate, boyfriend, best friend.
Yeah.
But then she, in a tender moment, cleans both herself and Alex off before Alex is arrested for the murder of Adrian. And then this ending.
It's like the ending of, remember that movie from the 80s? Where they go to that party at night? It's a college movie. And the ending is like, here, you're eating these razor blades. What was that movie? I'll think of it. It comes out of nowhere.
But the very ending of this movie, the last line of this movie, the first time I saw this, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, God, what a perfect fucking ending for a movie. This is a perfect ending. So
it's like the ending of High Tension.
After everything, Alex goes to jail. Justine goes home, and Justine and her mother and her father are all having breakfast together, and Justine's mother gets really upset and goes upstairs and goes away. And her father starts talking to her, and he's saying, when I first met your mother, I didn't know why she didn't want to be with me. I couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then he says he finally realized when they kissed for the first time. And he indicates, he shows that there's a scar on his lip, and saying that she bit Night of the Demons. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. There's a scar on his lip, and then he unbuttons his shirt, and he's just covered in scars and bite marks all over his chest.
All his meat's gone.
And then he says, "I'm sure you'll find a solution, honey." End of movie.
Yeah, that was raw. Whole family of cannibals. Your sister couldn't cut it. Maybe you can. Best of luck.
God, that line, because we see all of this disturbing shit happen. It's all really upsetting. Adrian just died. He was a beloved character.
Beloved.
It was, then there's this poignant moment where before Alex gets indicted for the murder of her friend, mm-hmm. Justine cares for her so that she doesn't go away unclean. And then she goes home, and there's this perfect moment that both summarizes, like, tells us what is happening and also is funny as fuck.
It is hilarious.
Like, oh my God, what a fucking movie. What a movie. That's raw. So anyway, go down Letterboxd Beat Street now, I guess. So these are our favorite reviews this week. There are a few of them.
You just want to go every other one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first so you can read yours.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Hunter Strawberry gave this movie 4.5 stars and says, "Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?" Which we can't tell you what that's from if you haven't seen it because we haven't covered that movie yet.
Yeah, we can't, and that's important.
But it's really funny.
It is really funny. So if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So No J Home, 4.5 stars. Finger licking good.
No J Home, 4.5 stars. Did anyone try the finger? I thought the finger was lovely.
And then Luke Livermore, 4 stars. As far as I'm concerned, women are the future of the horror genre and should be directing every horror film from here on out. I have feelings. Like, this is so, because the new French extremity movement is like dominated by male directors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then here comes this woman,
Peter Cottontail,
who just knocks it out of the park. And like, I love Gaspar Noé. Like, I think she does what he does better than him. And the guy that made Martyrs, I can't remember his name, but he also made Incident in the Ghostland. It's better. It's better, and I love Martyrs. So I haven't seen Titan yet.
It's on the list.
I
shortlisted it.
I need to watch it as soon as humanly possible. But this is hands down, I think, one of the best. Like, it's a modern masterpiece. Mm-hmm. It's a brilliant work of art. So Bechdel test, it passes, obviously.
Duh.
DuVernay test. So I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable making the call as to whether or not Adrian is or is not a person of color. But because that information is not anywhere. But I guess it's up for interpretation, or maybe somebody has more information than we do. And if you do, please feel free to message us and tell us how ignorant and stupid we are. And we're very sorry in advance. Idiot's Guide to Gore. So this is, we haven't broken out our hardcore scale for a while. No, we haven't had to. And this time we have to break out our hardcore scale.
So like on the basic Idiot's Guide to Gore, this easily scores a 5 out of 5. So for the Chris and Kara Guide to Gore, what do we call this?
So for the Chris and Kara Guide to Gore, I think that this would probably be a 4.
I would give it a 4
out of 5.
Yeah. I've seen grosser.
So if you don't know what the Chris and Kara Guide to Gore is, so there's the Idiot's Guide to Gore, which is the guide for your modern, just anybody consumer of horror, who might not be as seasoned and desensitized as we are because we just watch horror movies all the time. I ate while watching this movie. I'd still give it a 4 out of 5 on our scale.
You all know the story about me eating all that pudding during Human Centipede.
See, that one astounds me.
Oh, I would give it like a 3.
Well, I'm not concerned about the gore in Human Centipede. The movie sucks. It's terrible. God. It's a horrible movie. But
the second one's worse. Oh my.
They're all bad. Every single one of them is bad. The third one, each one is worse than the last.
There was a third one?
Yeah, it took place in a prison.
Cool.
And it was like a meta, like I don't
know. More
meta
than the second one?
No. Well, this one Tom Six showed up in. And yeah, it was awful.
If you love it, good for you.
I'm not going to say good for you if you love Human Centipede. I'm sorry. I'm judging you.
Better look next time.
I'm judging you if you love Human Centipede. I say this as somebody who enjoys trauma movies. I'm judging you.
God, I watched one of those movies, guys.
You watched the wrong one.
I watched one.
You watched the wrong one.
I watched one trauma movie, and it was racist.
You watched the wrong. Well, you watched the wrong one.
I watched like Trauma in Space or something. What did I watch?
You watched Trauma's War.
Trauma's War.
Wrong one.
Racist.
Chose the wrong one to start with.
It was the only one streaming.
I have Trauma now.
Pick me a different one.
No, I don't want to anymore. No.
Pick me the least racist one, and I'll watch that.
Listen, when I was like a teenager, I used to enjoy like making people watch trauma films and just watching their like reactions, like haha. But like now, not so much. I still want people to like me. It's harder to get people to continue hanging out with you when you're 31 than it is when you're 16 and you're like, have you seen this fucked up shit?
I mean, we do this for a living. We see talk.
Yeah. See, yes, we have Mindy in the comments saying Toxic Avenger. It's a classic. You're damn right it is.
I thought weren't they redoing that?
They are redoing it with its mainstream actors. One of my greater loves, Peter Dinklage, he is playing the Melvin, who is the human version of the Toxic Avenger. I think that like fucking Timothy Chalamet is in it. I don't know. But I'm really curious to see what becomes of it. And if you're interested, I wrote a piece for Phaser Media a while ago when there was the announcement of the cast, wondering what is going to come of Trauma fans when the mainstream Toxic Avenger hits the spotlight and people start delving into Trauma's library and what will be thought of us.
Nothing good. Sorry. I'll give it another chance. I'll pick a different one. I'll do Trauma High or something.
No. No. Well, actually, yeah, Class of Nukem High is a good way to go. Okay. But you do have to see the Toxic Avenger. That's the most important one.
Is that streaming? We'll check the after show. We'll talk about it on the after show. Shut up, S. What are we talking about?
We're gonna get our keys.
Oh, baby.
It's time to get our keys. Every week on Idiot's Guide to Horror, we like to imagine that we have been given the keys to remake or reboot the film that we are discussing. And then we decide what is flawless and what we would throw out the second we got the chance. So this week, I think that there's a lot more that's flawless. So this is just basically, I mean, we could just do like an open table discussion of what we thought was flawless because it's hard to just like go down point by point.
The cinematography.
Beautiful.
It was some of the best that I've seen in a recent movie.
Yeah.
Like the shot of her watching Adrian play football and like bleeding from the nose and her just like deadpan staring at him with his hunger.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I think that what impresses me the most about this movie is that you can take something as simple as like a hormonal woman coming of age story and like just she like scooped so many metaphors into this one overarching concept of like the cannibalism, right? So you have the biological urges that start to like blossom in the form of like sex, and also like the fear of that, the fear of your own sexuality, and how it's perceived by others, and then also the biological urge to eat as much as possible, but also like when you're a girl and you're that age, you are told not to eat as much as you want, and it does feel like something very shameful. And there's the at the end we find out why the whole family is vegetarian, and there's this theme of like the generational trauma and repression, and that shoehorns into like her and Alex's relationship and resentment and competition with each other. It is just a perfectly, mind-blowingly well-rounded metaphor and script. It is seamless.
I especially liked how somebody could take a movie that could have been just like Boyhood and shoehorned in. No, not shoehorned in. You just said that. I didn't mean it. That just like slips in some of the most disgusting cannibal body horror I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right. Yeah. It's like this movie has been made, right? Like if it's not horror, which like there are horror movies about like growing up, like Ginger Snaps paved the way. Ginger Snaps like crawled so this could marathon sprint. But this could be like Edge of 17, or it could be like What was that Mandy Moore movie from the early 2000s?
She's All That. Nope.
No.
That was a TV show.
No. How to Deal.
How to Deal.
How to Deal. This could be like How to Deal.
I would take a bullet for Mandy Moore.
I hear you. She's gonna tour soon. We can go.
I'm ready.
Okay. So yeah, that's really, I think, for me, like, I wish that this movie existed when I was 16 or 17.
But we still are.
Yeah. It's not 17 years since I was. Shut up.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what would you change about this movie? Should ye be able to?
Literally the only thing. So, like, there's, we have to cover our basic ground, which is I guess it's not technically Hollywood, so French Hollywood. Maybe you haven't heard us.
Yeah, they probably haven't.
You probably haven't heard us yet.
That's fine.
And that's okay. So we'll tell you what we already have told Hollywood several times.
Mm-hmm.
Stop killing dogs.
I don't care that it was off screen.
No.
I care that Alex made fun of it.
Yeah.
It hurt me.
No, I just don't want to know that the dog died at all.
Please don't tell me.
Please don't tell me ever.
And they also dissected a dog.
They did dissect a dog.
It looked a lot like her dog.
I will say that, like, as a vegan, this movie is rough, and I didn't want to say that before because it sounds annoying, but I will, just in case there are any other vegans listening.
What did our vegan friend give it on Letterboxd?
I didn't look. I don't know if she even watched it. But as a vegan, there are parts of this movie, if you are, like, an ethical vegan, it's rough. It was rough. I had some moments. The horse scene at the beginning really kind of bugged me. And I had trouble with, like, the
4 stars.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess that we had to cover that ground. Stop killing dogs, even if it's off screen. If you have to do it, don't tell me you're doing it.
Yeah, I'd rather not know.
Don't tell me you're doing it. Just, like, do like people do with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, one day the dog's there, the next day the dog's gone. I don't need to know anything else. Don't tell me.
Kill 2 more humans and leave that dog alone.
Yeah. And my thing is that the hairball scene is too long. I think that it is, like, the only thing in this movie that, like, is an obvious grab for shock.
And boy, is it.
It just doesn't stop. It is, like, I don't know, like, I feel like she does such a good job of, like, holding her own when it comes to, like, the gratuitous, like, violence and gore.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, there's, like, a point where, like, and I understand this, when you do something that is, like, predominantly male dominated, you, like, have this urge to be like, I'm gonna out fucked up you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, I get it. But we don't need to be grosser than them. We can just be better. So I think that the hairball scene is too long. I would cut about 30 seconds off of that motherfucker.
Yeah. Then I would have, like, an extra 2 minutes of my life today. What I didn't write here, but I meant to, is the reason that this movie lost, like, a whole star for me, is because this school does not seem realistic whatsoever, and it really bothers me.
Yeah, is it because of the hazing, or is it because, like, the setup?
The setup. I do not believe that this is a vet school at all.
Like, what exactly?
Like, in my brain, vet school is, like, something you do during the day, and you don't live there at night, and it's not it's not a multiple-year program, which it probably is. Probably like a real doctor school, because it's real doctors for animals. But in my brain, I don't think that any of this would happen there.
I mean, so neither one of us really, like, went to traditional college.
Huh.
So, since neither one of us went to traditional college, and since neither one of us is a veterinarian, and neither one of us is a French veterinarian, I guess we can never really know.
Yeah, I guess.
Fully. I guess I just took it with a grain of salt. Whenever I see things about college experiences, because of the fact that I didn't go to a traditional 4-year school, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
This movie is like Animal House.
It's like Animal House. That's true. Yeah.
It bothered me a lot.
I hear you.
And also, I would have given Adrian, whose name I wrote down here, cannot pronounce for the life of me, I would have given him more screen time.
I don't want to butcher it.
It's a name that I cannot pronounce.
We will also put it in the show notes. I'm going to start putting things in the show notes. That's going to be the new thing.
Yeah. 22 show notes.
Season 2 things. So I guess that's it. I guess that's really what I would change. It's just like the hairball scene. I think that goes on for entirely too long, but everything
I would have added another minute to it. It's so disturbing.
Everything else I would say is like solid. I mean, I don't want to be too dramatic here, but I would say that it's definitely like a modern masterpiece. It feels like, I mean, I haven't seen Titan yet. People are saying that it's like technically as a film even better. Dan in the comments is saying that Titan was equally as bonkers, but that he enjoyed Raw a little more. I am interested in the fact that I've heard that it is just as poignant and disgusting at the same time. And I'm really interested in seeing like what else she can do with this.
I have to buy it on iTunes.
If we gotta buy it, we gotta buy it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll buy
it. So
what do you rate it?
I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I would say it's a damn near perfect movie.
It's really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but I can easily see myself giving it 4.5 out of 5. The reason I didn't give it that last half star is who knows? Like, honestly, I picked these, like, my ratings. I don't usually rate anything below a 3 because I can find something good in everything.
Right.
There's that movie Deadly Illusions on Netflix.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh my god, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. We'll watch it later.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, this is a great movie. I mean, it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
And that's like, when it comes to horror, like when it's like critically acclaimed, you know, like you're really in for something. Like I still to this day, I feel like critics are getting better about horror, but like also at the same time, like when it comes to something like this, you do not expect a lot of mercy.
Right.
And this is, you know, renowned, and she won the Palme d'Or at Cannes for Titan. So like she's one to watch out for.
She's Jordan Peele of France.
She's going to be a classic. Oh my god, I can't wait for. I just want to know what Nope is about.
A balloon.
That's all we know, right? Like, is that there's like lightning in the sky. I just want to know. I just want to know. We are getting so close to it. How has he not released a single plot detail yet?
Because he's going to eliminate it.
Anyway.
Oh, I want to watch Us again. Do I own that?
I think that you own it. You bought it, right?
I probably bought it.
I love that I know what you haven't bought. So anyway,
I guess to non-horror.
Well, I guess that, you know, just to summarize, that was Raw, guys.
Oh yeah, that was Raw.
Thank you so much, because like, you know, we didn't expect anybody to want to turn up for a foreign language film, because we have been burned.
Yeah, Martyrs, which was a fantastic movie. We covered it early on in our podcasting career, and it still has like 1 listen on it. And I'm sure that's from me.
I think it's gone up significantly since we first recorded it, but we figured out pretty fast that like
we should not be doing.
People don't want to listen to podcasts about French movies, at least not at first, at least not until you trust us. But there have been enough of you watching tonight that I guess that you trust us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And join us next week whenever we're doing Train to Busan.
Listen, if we get into, you know, if we get into like...
I think we can do it closer to the remake coming out.
Girl, if we get into like Thai horror, if we get into Indonesian horror, if we get into Korean horror...
Queen of Black Magic ever again.
We're gonna, eventually.
So gross.
Eventually. Is it grosser than this?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's just more graphic than this.
Queen of Black Magic is, you know, if you have Shudder and you haven't watched Queen of Black Magic yet.
I recommend it.
It is so good. It is so gross. But... So, also, yeah, the trailer for the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio stop motion movie looks great.
I haven't seen it. I've only watched 1 trailer in the last 10 years.
You watched the trailer for the new Ty West movie, which he's finally making a new fucking movie.
looks so good.
It does look so good. So, all right. So every week, after we discuss all the horrific things, we like to taper off the evening by giving you a guide to non-horror, which are things that we have enjoyed in the last week that were not horror related. So Chris, this week, what do you recommend that isn't horror?
I'm recommending Greta Gerwig's Little Women, which is not horror and cannot be construed as such in any way.
Okay.
It's really good if you like. It's like this. It's like Raw, the coming of age story part about a few little women, some of which you may know from other movies we've covered on this podcast before.
Yeah. Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's perfect.
And
Timothy Chalamet's in it, and it's just, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry again. I bought this, like when the sad parts of my life was happening like a few weeks ago. I'm like, I need to feel good. And I cried the whole time. So.
I have not yet seen the new Little Women. I've been waiting to watch it with my mom. No, that's okay. It's on Stars, which I actually have Stars.
You know that Kara has every streaming service imaginable.
You mention it every week.
Because it surprises me every time. So I say a different one and you have it.
Yeah, but yet I spend my days just watching fucking nothing but RuPaul's Drag Race over and over and over again.
Me too.
Or I'm not going to recommend this by any means, but I have watched the first 3 episodes of How I Met Your Father. And if you need something that will just numb your fucking brain with slight little references to How I Met Your Mother here and there without any of the same humor, and if you love Hilary Duff as much as I love Hilary Duff,
I would take a bullet for her.
I would die for Hilary Duff. Then I guess check out How I Met Your Mother, but I'm not going to tell you. I mean, How I Met Your Father. Kim Cattrall's there too.
Doing what?
She's playing the version of the older version of Hilary Duff, telling the story of how she met their father. And the way that they're doing it is really clever because, in the original How I Met Your Mother, they were like, everyone's white. So the mother's gonna be white. But in this, they actually introduce all of the people that might be the father within the first few episodes.
Like Mamma Mia.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be telling the story to her son who is off screen, so you can't tell who he might be. It doesn't give you a clue as to who he is. But anyway,
so that what you're recommending, little fathers?
No, I'm recommending a movie that came out last year to what I feel now after watching it was not enough fanfare, called Nobody. It's an action film starring one of my favorite people ever, Bob Odenkirk. And if you don't know who Bob Odenkirk is, apparently you haven't watched any American comedy or even some Australian and British comedy. Bob Odenkirk is a comedic genius that has spent his life lifting up other comedians and helping them get shows and helping them get fame. But in this movie, he was an action star. And it was actually fantastic. I really enjoyed myself. It was sort of it had John Wick vibes, but it also had Bob Odenkirk, and I'm into that. 100%. So that's on HBO Max right now. And it's a little gory. So if you're upset by gore in a non-horror situation, it's very much an action movie. Think Die Hard kind of gore. So yeah, that's my recommendation this week. I also, and we have somebody, Dan is in the comments saying that his non-horror recommendation is Don't Look Up. I haven't watched it yet.
Me neither.
I'm getting super mixed reviews from people. Dan, I trust you though, because you were so excited for us to do Raw. So okay, I'll check it out.
I've heard things.
I've heard
good things, I've heard bad things.
I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. Ariana Grande's there, so I'm not opposed.
No, because she's my favorite part of Scream Queen. That's a lie.
I was gonna say, shut the fuck up. We all know.
I I would sacrifice myself for Emma Roberts.
I know that you love her.
There's nothing.
You were considering getting a portrait of her entire face tattooed on your leg.
I'm not opposed to it now. Isn't she stunning?
She is like uncommonly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little annoying.
Go watch Scream 4.
I did watch Scream 4 before we saw the new Scream. So anyway, you can contact us. So if you are watching the live stream, please stick around because the after party is coming up next, in which we reveal the movie that we're doing next week, and we sort of interact with everybody a little bit more.
We're going to eat more of our Chipotle.
I am going to eat more of my Chipotle, so you'll get to witness that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, if you are listening to the audio podcast and you would like to know where to contact us, you can email us questions, comments, and recommendations to idiotsguidetohorror@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at idiotsguidetohorror, on Twitter at horroridiots, on Facebook at facebook.com/horroridiots, and please continue to rate our podcast on iTunes to help other horror movie fans and non-horror movie fans find us. Tell a friend about us. We put a lot of work into this, and our lives are on the precipice. Both of us are on the precipice of big life changes.
I'm precipicing everywhere.
We are precipicing everywhere, and this is our constant. And we are coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
Can you believe it?
1 year anniversary.
And for my anniversary gift, I really want one of these water bottles to drop tomorrow.
Oh my god, I'm so excited! I have an alarm set on my phone.
Oh, I need you to text me when it happens.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we were looking at the studio house designs, watch more horror movie water bottles, because I apparently don't have enough of studio house design stuff. If you haven't, checked them out on Instagram, here's free press for them because their stuff is fantastic. But anyway, I guess that's about it. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you could stomach it. And if you are watching the live stream, then please stick around. And if you're not, then have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Never waste your pain.
Bye, everybody.
Do you know what's such a good movie?
What?
Saint Maud.
So we should make bingo cards.
I know. Like Wes Anderson bingo.
Yeah.
Except not.
So.
I didn't watch the fucking French Dispatch. Are you kidding me?
We're going to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
Because I still have it. I have the DVD open on my nightstand, and I'm just waiting. And I'm like, why didn't I watch it yet? I remember now.
Because you're gonna watch it with me. All right. So next week is my choice.
Ooh. What's it gonna be?
How do you feel about doing censor?
Now let's see here. The ending ruined my life. Or did it make it better?
I think it probably made it better.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, so the movie next
elevating
week,
horror.
Yeah, we're doing elevated horror, I guess. The movie next week is going to be Censor. It is streaming on Hulu.
It's British.
This is one of my that's spicy. One of my New Year's resolutions was to be the queen bee of a censor hive. So I'm going to further that now. Is there anything that you guys would like to see us cover?
We had a recommendation on Instagram for The Others. You heard of that one?
And we will, when we get these recommendations, we do add it to the list. So if there's anything that you would like to see us cover, please feel free to weigh in and let us know, and we will eventually cover it. Yeah, I'm really excited to cover Censor. I saw it at Sundance last year. I was blown away by it. And I have since made a bunch of people watch it ever since it got released to streaming. It's another one I wrote a piece on. I think that it's and that's more women are the future of horror films because it's written and directed by a woman.
But not by Greta Gerwig.
Not by Greta Gerwig, who I also love. I truly do love Greta Gerwig. Mindy, it's nice to have you here.
Yeah. Never leave us again.
So yeah, I guess we didn't do the wrestling part. We didn't do the
Sunday.
That's the monster truck.
Yeah.
I just thought that I need to rewatch Excision.
I've never even heard of it.
The first time I saw it, that's another one, like similar to what I was just saying about the ending of Raw. When I finished Excision, I felt like I was just sitting there for like 20 minutes afterwards with just like my eyebrows, like, you know, halfway up my forehead, just like
Divine.
What the fuck? Yeah. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, how does nobody like know about this movie? Like, it's on Prime right now, I think.
Prime.
Yeah. So it recently came up on my like, you know, what you should watch next, and I was like, oh yeah, I should rewatch that. Yep. Tracy Lords and John Waters are both in it. Mm-hmm.
Tracy Lords is in it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, am I screaming?
You're screaming a little bit. It's fine. We all understand.
I haven't seen her in forever.
It's fantastic. There are like a bunch of things that I would like to cover this season. I don't know what we should do for our big like anniversary episode. Should we redo Eraserhead?
Give the kids what they want.
Yeah. I mean, Eraserhead is technically our most listened to episode, and I wish that you guys would stop that.
Yeah.
Don't. Please stop listening to our first episode. We were children then.
We didn't know what we were doing.
I was but a mere 30-year-old babe.
Same. Except 32 or 3 or 4.
I don't know, something like that.
Who even knows how old I am?
We were alive.
Barely.
We
were starting to live.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because this started out as a podcast to like talk about sort of like art house horror, and then we changed our minds really fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I got bored with the concept really fast, and I talked to somebody who told me that like it was pulled from the Google podcast. Oh yeah, I did mute it, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
On New Year's.
Mm-hmm. I was like, everybody stop it. Because first of all, I used to edit the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm. Jump cuts.
There was just like mad jump cuts, and it was unrealistic, and I was trying to sound really NPR-ish, and that's just not who we are at all. And eventually I had to embrace that.
Yeah, we don't edit anymore.
No.
Unless we like physically have to.
No.
Like one of us has to leave the room for like 45 minutes. Then we cut that out.
I edit the audio.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Yeah, to hear my beautiful voice go around town.
I edit the audio and then I move on with my life.
Who has time? I mean, like once we get picked up by a major label, I'm sure they'll edit it for us. And they can do whatever they want to it.
Also, if we were to like start a Patreon, like this is another discussion I would like to open. If we were to start a Patreon, like what kind of rewards would people want?
Like free kiss in the lips.
I don't want.
You each get one kiss in the lips.
I don't want to do that.
You don't get to come out to the paint turn screen.
Listen, I have entered like a don't touch me phase of my life.
I'm saving my kiss and lips for Ryder Strong.
Oh yeah.
And we were just talking about Nick Carter right before that. I saw that. So
there's a 90s convention.
Yeah, we're going to pay $80 to get Nev Campbell's autograph.
Where is it at? New Hampshire? I already have it.
It's in Hartford.
10-hour
drive.
Yeah, but also probably like a less than an hour flight. Actually, I've flown into Hartford.
Can we get like a Spirit where like it costs like 45 cents?
Probably.
I don't even need to bring any clothes. It's 3 weekend days.
I don't know.
You have a long question.
Here, this is random, but I just into the time where we randomly ended up at the same Halloween party in high school. Remember, we tried to figure out what movie to watch, and you and I adamantly said no to the Exorcist, and we ended up watching Friday the 13th instead. I vaguely remember that as well. I was really scared of that movie for a long time, and Yeah. I remember that we were pretty fearless about Friday the 13th, but
It's scarier, I think.
You think Friday the 13th is scarier?
Than The Exorcist?
Yeah.
I mean, there's more jump scares.
I wouldn't say that it's scarier. I don't know. I talked to my mom yesterday. I think it was yesterday that she finally listened to the episode of The Exorcist, and she was like, it wasn't so much the effects as the fact that a lot of us in the 70s were still like, we still had a lot of Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, when you're born with the fear of God, like when everything that you've known since you were like born is the fear of God, then that movie is the most terrifying thing that you can possibly think of.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, I almost watched The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, the other day. Just because, like, when I work, I like to have things on in the background. And, like, I used to just put on RuPaul's Drag Race in the background, but now I want to, like, pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I... Hi, Ma!
She was eavesdropping the whole time.
She was here the whole time.
Do we know that for sure?
The Exorcist, Dan says The Exorcist 2 is awful. It is awful. The third one is very good. That's true.
I've heard that too from these people last week.
But listen, like, when I'm working, I don't want something that I'm like enjoying on in the background. Like,
yeah.
The shit that I've watched while I watched like Days of Thunder recently while I was working.
You should watch Deadly Attractions on Netflix.
What is that?
Wait, let me see.
Is that the one with Charlotte from Sex and the City?
I've never seen one episode of Sex and the City, so I don't know.
It is the one with Charlotte.
It's so bad. How does it have a 3.7?
There's people out there that like bad shit. Oh my
god. I gave it a half star. And I never give anything a half star.
There's a new episode of And Just Like That out. I mean, I can't. That's my horror movie. I can't stop. It's okay that you missed the podcast, Ma.
1.4. And I said, what did I say?
It's pretty gay, right?
Yeah, pretty gay.
Okay. That's probably why.
I watched this and no, ladies being gay.
Well, that's what I mean. It's probably why it has a higher rating.
Oh, okay. I watched this entire movie because it was number 3 trending on Netflix. The movie feels like a crossover between a soap opera and a Hallmark movie. The plot is awful. The acting is awful. The dialogue is so bizarre. I've never heard anyone speak like this before. The twist was offensive. The font choice in the manuscript was offensive. This movie is so long and so bad. Almost bad enough to be enjoyable. If you want my advice, watch the first 10 minutes and the last 30 minutes and call it a day.
So I will avoid it.
So bad. I don't remember what the twist was, but I remember it was offensive.
Fallen. All right. Okay, Dan. By the way, if anybody watches Nobody, the movie that I suggested for non-horror, please tell me after the fact if you have feelings for Bob Odenkirk now, because I do.
Christopher Lloyd's in it.
So another movie that's been a recent obsession of mine that I feel like you two would appreciate is Phantom of the Paradise. We'll add it to the list. It's basically Rocky Horror before Rocky Horror. Hell yeah. I love to hear it.
Rest in peace, Meatloaf.
Did you know he died from COVID?
Yeah. Found that out.
Because he wasn't vaccinated. I'm just saying. So, Dan, there are 2 Fallens. Are you talking about the one that has Denzel Washington in it from 1998? Or are you talking about... Oh, no, I don't think you're talking about the romance/fantasy movie from 2016.
We don't know that for sure.
What is Fallen on?
I'm into this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just based on that.
Oh, it's Brian De Palma. Okay, Mindy.
The most highly acclaimed horror fantasy of our time.
Ooh, I don't see Fallen on anything, but Dan, you've got me with this cast. Got Denzel, yeah, John Goodman, Donald Sutherland, James Gandolfini. James Gandolfini.
Oh God, you got her.
You got me. You got me. Before I do my 8 millionth tour of The Sopranos, you still need to watch it.
You and everybody else keep telling me that.
But
I'm still watching Drag Race for the 15th time.
Tell him he has to watch The Sopranos. It's a different take on possession. Yeah, it looks really interesting. So the movie Fallen that Dan is recommending, after witnessing the execution of serial killer Edgar Reese, whom he arrested, police detective John Hobbs and his partner Jonesy. I love the idea of John Goodman being called Jonesy. That's fucking adorable. Are soon investigating another murderer whose mode of operation is eerily similar to Reese's. In the course of the investigation, Hobbs meets theology professor Greta Milano, who introduces him to the world of the occult and the possibility that an evil spirit is behind the killings. Damn, okay, I'm in.
Like Frailty?
It kind of sounds like Frailty a little bit, yeah. Frailty is a slap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that rocks too. So I don't know. I like God, this list. We used to have like an actual
We still do.
list. We just don't use it. Yeah, we just so I guess we could start like a list again.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to do like because you got us those Blu-rays a while ago for like so we could do the Versus episode for Grindhouse.
And then we never did, but we did a double feature of the Blair Witches.
Yeah, right. So we eventually will be doing like a Versus kind of episode with Planet Terror versus Death Proof.
Or Planet Terror 1.
Okay, you know what? I have feelings, and we all know that I always have feelings, but I have feelings about this because Planet Terror, yeah, it's great, it's flashy, it's in your face. Death Proof, though, Death Proof, and I know
Tarantino said it was the worst movie he ever directed.
He's wrong. He is wrong about his own body of work.
What's worse? Name one.
I don't think that any of them are bad. Do I want to rewatch The Hateful Eight as often as I want to rewatch the other ones? No.
Yes. Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. Exactly, but Kurt Russell.
You got me.
Kurt Russell.
You got me.
Thank you. Kurt Russell, Sidney Poitier's daughter being like just a fucking goddess.
Eli Roth,
man.
Was he in the other one? Was he in Planet Terror?
No.
He was just in Death Proof.
He was in Death Proof and he directed the Thanksgiving short and just refuses, absolutely. The man fucking refuses to give us a full-length Thanksgiving movie.
And that movie got us all into Robert Frost.
It did. Yeah. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I have miles to go before I sleep. Yeah. So that's going to be a blast because I am who I am. Somebody did have a conversation with me recently about like they were like, "Oh, what if Quentin Tarantino made a horror movie?" And I was like, "He already did." And they were like, "That doesn't count." And I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like I used to. I don't know if Mindy remembers this, but I had a Death Proof backpack in high school.
Oh wow, a true fan.
Yeah. But I also have a little mini Quentin Tarantino action figure from Planet Terror. So I had an obsession in high school with Quentin Tarantino. It was a whole problem.
What's your least favorite part of Four Rooms?
My least favorite part of oh God.
The first one, right?
Gotta think about it.
Which one was the vampires? Or the witches?
That's like later. That's like the third vignette, I'm pretty sure. The one with Madonna?
I haven't seen it literally in like 30 years.
It's so good. So I don't know. I can't pick a least favorite part.
You can't pick a least favorite anything, can you?
No.
What's your least favorite French Extremity movie?
Irreversible. or either Irreversible or Incident in a Ghostland. Incident in a Ghostland is really misogynist, and Irreversible has a literal 10-minute rape scene, and it is too much. I don't know. I'm very good at liking things, and I'm very good at not liking things. I'm very vocal when I don't like things.
Yeah, I feel like you like a lot.
I do like a lot, but I also I don't like a lot too. I didn't like The Ring.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I didn't like The Ring. The Platform is fantastic. The Platform made me feel a little that got to my tummy a little bit. But I think it was just like a sort of stress ulcer kind of thing more than it was the actual gore. I mean, like, it's gross.
I didn't see it.
I'll
put on my own personal list.
It's upsetting. Like, it's very upsetting. It's one of those like metaphors for class systems, and it's Did anybody see Encanto? Does anybody else have We Don't Talk About Bruno stuck in their head all the time?
I haven't seen it.
Oh man, you gotta get on that. I didn't mean to watch it, but somebody else was already watching it, and I came in and I was like, well, this is great. The songs have absolutely no fucking right to go as hard as they do, and We Don't Talk About Bruno is the fucking bop. The bop. It is the one. I'm just saying. Yep, see, Dan's kids loved it. Mindy, you know what's up. God, what a movie. You know what I mean? I bet that working with kids keeps it as a perpetual earworm. I took a road trip last weekend, and I did a lot of the Encanto soundtrack. I thought that I was going to be doing like a lot of like Disney sing-along stuff to try and keep myself amused, but most of it was just like me like spacing.
No audiobooks, no podcasts?
I did listen to a couple of podcasts, but most of the time, like, I was really just like nervous about getting there because I was going to a wedding and I didn't really know anybody there. So I did a lot of like spacing out and doing the whole like be yourself.
Giving yourself the speech from the Jinx.
Yes. And then I got there and I texted you about how great the hotel room was.
I'm surprised you left.
I am surprised I left it. So funny story about that. If I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I don't really drink very often, and I had a couple of drinks at the wedding, and I was really tired, and I was wearing shoes that were bad, and I was at a different hotel from everybody else because I called too late, and the room block was already like booked up, and so I went back to my hotel room. It was like 1:00 in the morning, and I'm like stumbling in on like these heels, just like walking like, like inch by inch. And the concierge comes like running down the hallway into the desk. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, somebody's room is on fire. I was like, I just like stopped and I was like, and I like leaned against a wall and took the shoes off. And I was like, do we have to evacuate? And she was like, I don't know yet. And I was like, okay. And I just kept walking down the hallway and went back and like got into my bed and just waited for like alarms to go off. And I was on the first floor, so I was just like watching all these fire trucks pull up and just being like, any minute now. Any minute now. And it didn't happen.
Did you use the indoor pool?
I did not. I didn't have enough time. I wanted to, but I ended up having to leave earlier because Pittsburgh was having a snowstorm.
Are we having one right now?
Better not be.
I can't see out the window. Because the weather's supposed to get 3 inches of snow now. Between tonight and tomorrow. Next 24 hours. And then again
Should I leave right now?
I don't know. Alexa, what's the weather?
Right now in Cheswick, it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Throughout the night, you can expect more of the same, with a low of 25 degrees.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap this up then so that I can get on the road.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, but we don't have salt trucks.
No, apparently all of the salt trucks and all of the plow trucks just got sucked into a void. And like, that's...
They said, fuck it, you're on your own.
That's it now. Every time I have to work when it's snowing, I almost die.
Mm-hmm.
When I drove back from the east side of the state, I was fine until I hit Pittsburgh, tried to turn into my plan, and hit a car. Immediately hit a car.
I was driving home the other day from work. It just started snowing, and I thought, like, better get out of work now. Drove right off the road. Because the cars in front of me, I have a four-wheel drive vehicle because you need one where I live, you know? Mm-hmm. And I spent a very long time not having one. However, I drive very slowly. Because I've been into a lot of car accidents in my life, all because of snow.
I'm very much like, bully me. I don't give a shit.
Go around me.
Yeah, go around me, motherfucker. I don't care. Like, I will go 5 miles per hour and you will fucking eat my butt.
Mm-hmm. Honk all you want.
Yeah. Honk.
I don't care.
Try to intimidate me. I don't give a shit. It's your funeral. You go fast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I have a fucking Elantra. I'm not going anywhere.
Right. In my car, like, the four-wheel drive turns on whenever it feels like it. I don't have a button.
I like that it's just like, maybe.
Because, like, I was like, how do I turn it on? And the guy's like, oh, it's Sky Active technology, so it'll turn itself on when it needs it to be on. I said, what if I need it on all the time? And he said, you don't. How many times have I driven off the road? Huh.
I have like, oh wait, Mindy, I live in Virginia now and we got snow on a Monday. The roads didn't get properly cleared until the following Saturday. That's what's happening in Pittsburgh too. Yeah. That's what's happening in Pittsburgh too. Everything that like isn't on the road is because like somebody who hooked up a plow to their truck did it themselves, or just because it melted because it went above 30 degrees.
Which it did for 1 hour today.
Yeah.
So my driveway is a death trap. And nobody takes responsibility for any of it.
It is, it's not fun.
Steve fell twice.
The last time I left, I literally like was like this the entire way. And I almost texted you when I made it to my car to be like, I did it, just to like show you like how long it took me. It was like a solid 15 minutes.
The other day I had to, so you know how much of a dickhead I am. It was blizzarding and I DoorDashed food. I'm sorry. But they dropped it off at the first house in the what do you call this?
Plan.
Yeah, the housing plan.
Rows or. They
dropped it off at the first townhouse in the row of townhouses, so I had to get out and make my way downtown, walking fast.
Faces past and you're homebound?
I was food bound.
Okay, so there used to be a fish ship with clearing the roads in PA. So they might still be in like Burrell. But he lives in Cheswick and I live in like Wilkinsburg. And in Wilkinsburg, they don't give a shit. They're not trying to do anybody any favors. But yeah, I'm gonna look out the window.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to entertain people for a moment while I look out the window?
All right, buddy, your time to shine. See?
It's not snowing yet.
Oh, thank God, guys! It's not snowing. Clarence is safe.
Clarence didn't let me hold him.
Well, he'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. Since I don't have to run. I don't have to run anymore.
I just want to run.
They've had more delays and closures than ever. Oh, well, they didn't give us a lot of delays and closures when we were kids. So good for those kids.
Yeah, we never got delays because I didn't have a fucking school bus because Valley didn't get school buses.
Did you walk to school?
No, I had to get a ride, but we didn't have because they didn't offer school buses for
Because
Valley.
you technically lived in Burrell, right?
I lived on the border. I lived right on the New Kensington side of the border.
Which street?
I lived on Carl.
Oh my God, we lived so close to each other.
Where do you live?
I lived on Russell.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Neighbors.
We were basically neighbors. Chris and I have just had like intersecting paths for most of our lives, but we didn't know that it would come to this point.
The last time I saw Carrie before this podcast, I bumped into her at Target at Starbucks.
It was like 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was buying a TV. Was it Black Friday? No, it couldn't have been.
I don't go to Target on Black Friday.
It was Christmas time.
It was definitely Christmas time, but are you sleepy?
He's so tired.
Are you sleepy?
My grandma won't let him nap all day.
I like that she keeps him up all day like he's a baby.
She thinks that I come home and go right to bed, which I did. And when you texted me and said, Chipotle, I said, that's when I woke up.
Rose from the dead for Chipotle. Yeah, I slept like all day yesterday. My apartment is freezing.
Why?
Because they control the heat. So they control the heat, which they have it turned on, but also like, here's my toxic trait. One of my toxic traits, okay, is that I see something old and then I get mad when it does old shit. Like I'll like fall in, like I love like my old ass apartment with the original crown molding and the high ceilings and the built-ins, like, oh my God, it's beautiful. But then it'll do things like right now, like there's a leak in my pantry. Like there's a leak from like the shower, which is like right next to my pantry, like into my pantry. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this apartment is like, like 60 years old, right? Or maybe more than. And like, so why am I surprised that an old apartment with hardwood floors and high ceilings and no sunlight is a little drafty in the wintertime? I don't know. It's my most toxic trait is that I love old things, but I don't want them to behave like they're old.
My most toxic trait. Well, I'm perfect in every way.
You are perfect in every single way. Yeah.
I sleep a lot.
Well, you're tired.
Cecil.
Okay. Well, I guess next week, join us for Censor. If you haven't seen Censor,
watch it twice.
That's your homework, yeah. And then just I'll get my crown ready for the Censor Hive.
And I'll get my contacts in. Didn't she have contacts in that? Her eyes were. The poster has her with an eye, right?
It's her with her eyes like whited out, yeah. But it's not like in the movie.
No.
Don't do that in the movie.
And I can't wear contacts because I had LASIK eye surgery.
Oh, so you can't like wear color contacts ever?
I could, but
what hurt?
I'm perfect now.
All right. Thanks.
Never waste your pain.
It's always nice to have people here. And
yeah. Hey, if you haven't already, go to iTunes and leave us a little 5 stars.
Yeah, please.
And we'll give each of you a kiss on the lips next time we see you. He will.
He will. You want that? You want that, huh? Oh my God! Usually I can't get you to stop kissing me. He's so apathetic right now. He's like, "Fuck you, Aunt Kara."
Dear diary, mood apathetic.
All right. I guess I've said goodnight like 10 million times now, but really, good night.
Good night. I'm clicking off because I have control of the mouse now.
He's doing it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.